Welcome back to Globesweeper Hex Puzzler. Today, we're gonna start by taking a look at Scope, and then probably also jump into Waltz that we unlocked last time after completing Assemble. Both are pretty different levels, but as far as I remember, Scope is relatively simple, and Waltz is maybe a little tricky, but I don't think either of them are overly complicated. So, let's start with Scope. So, we start with a max 2 chain, and we have only 3 tiles. That means the center tile here has to be marked, because if we disconnect this tile, we can no longer make a 2 chain in just these 2 separate tiles. The center tile has to be marked, and now we have our 2 chain, so we have to disconnect this tile. Then we get the 1 here, and the 0, and just some basic tile solving. And then here we have a max 2 with 3 tiles, same as in the beginning. We have to mark the center, because that is the only way to make a 2 chain, either these 2 tiles or these 2 tiles. So the center is marked, and that is in reach of this 3 area, which now has 3 tiles, so all of the rest are deleted. Now I guess we'll go over here, why not? So the 1 here and the 3, that's it. We can't do more there for right now. This 3 needs these tiles marked. This one we actually can't say much about. Well, we can say one thing. Okay, so we have a max 2 chain, 2 tile here, with 2 tiles marked. Either one of these could be a 1 tile, we don't know. But, again, we have 5, well not again, because you maybe haven't watched the previous video, but whatever. We have 5 tiles. If we were to mark this center tile, what would happen? If this tile is marked, then how do we make a 2 chain? This tile, if it connects up to here, then it becomes a 3 chain. And this tile, if it connects up to here, it becomes a 3 chain. And this tile on its own can't connect up to either of these without connecting to these 2. So if we mark this tile, we don't have any option to make a 2 chain. So that is not possible. We have to delete this tile. That gives us a 1, and because we know this max 2 will have either one of these 2 marked for the 2 chain it needs, that means the 1 will be completed using one of these 2 tiles, and these 2 tiles can be removed. That now gives us this tile, which now, nope, doesn't let us complete the 4, but we can still do something here. We have 3 tiles for this 4 area, and then we know that this 1 needs one of these 2. So we'll get the 4th tile here, and these 4 tiles cannot be marked. This 2 now is already done, so that's disconnected, and the 1 needs this tile here. Let's move on up here, so this 1 is done. When it just comes to normal tiles, I guess I won't explain too much. The 3 area here has 3 already, so this tile is gone. And then here we have a max 3 area, 3 tile, with 2 tiles already in 5 tiles, so the center tile will have to be marked. If we were to disconnect this tile, then we only have 2 tiles here and 2 tiles here, and there's no opportunity, no possibility to make a 3 chain. So the center tile in 5 tiles has to be marked for a 3 chain. And that now gives us our 3 chain, so we can disconnect this connecting tile, but then mark this tile for the 2 here. And that's as far as we can take this part. So let's move on down again to this max 2, which now has 1 and needs another tile. That completes this 2. This max 3 has 4 tiles, and we have to mark the center 2 tiles, because the only ways to make a 3 chain in 4 tiles is to use these 3 tiles or these 3 tiles. So regardless, these 2 tiles have to be marked, which now completes our 3 chain, so this tile is disconnected. Same again. Max 3 in 4 tiles, we have to mark the 2 center tiles, completing the chain, and this is disconnected. Now here, this 8 area has 5 tiles here, 7 tiles here, and then this 2 needs 1 more tile here for the final tile in the 8 area, so this tile has to be disconnected. And since we know one of these tiles will be connected or marked, that will complete this 2, so these tiles are all gone as well. This 2 now needs these 2 tiles, and this max 3 tile once again has 4 tiles. We have to mark these 2 tiles in the center to make a 3 chain, and then disconnect this tile now that the 3 chain is done. And then we get this tile marked for the final tile in the 8 area in this 2. Now we can go down here. This 5 area has 5 tiles already, so all of these tiles are disconnected. This 2 needs this tile, and this 4 has 2 tiles, and we know this 2 will have 2 tiles in here, completing this 4 area, so these 2 tiles cannot be marked. This 1 is now already done, which means these 2 tiles are marked for the 2 and this 4 area, but then that's as far as we can take this for right now, and we go up to this 8 instead. So here we once again have 5, and 8, so it's already done, and these 2 tiles can't be marked. This 2 is now already done. And this max 1 tile has 1 tile here, so we can't mark the one adjacent to it, or it makes a 2 chain, which is too many for the max 1. So this has to be disconnected, and the 2 here is already done. This is marked for the 2 here, and we can look at this area here with a 4. We have 3 tiles. We know one of these will be marked for this 1, so that's the 4th tile, and these 4 tiles all have to be disconnected. This 1 is already done, so that's gone, and this tile is now marked. Then, I think we probably can't go much here, so let's start here. So the 3 needs these tiles, and the 2 is done here. Maybe we can. I can't remember. I'm trying to, like, go for the dead ends early, so I don't have to jump around too much, but it's a little hard to keep track. But anyway, a max 2 chain in 3 tiles, so we have to use the center tile. If we don't, we can't make a 2 chain. And then we're already done with a 2 chain, so this is disconnected. The 1 here is done. Max 1 with 1 tile, we can't mark the adjacent tile. The 1 here is already done. This 3 needs these 3 tiles. Yeah, I think this is probably the longer one, so maybe I should just hold off here for now and go up this way instead. So here we have the 4 with 3 tiles. It needs another one. Sorry if I'm jumping around. It's gonna be a lot, especially in the next level. You have to jump around a lot. The 1 here is already done, and this 1 needs this marked. This 7 now has 7 tiles marked, 6 here and 1 here, so these tiles are disconnected. Then we get these 2 tiles for the 4, and this max 2 chain, 2 tile, has once again it has 1 tile here, but in these 3 tiles we have to make a 2 chain, so the center tile has to be marked, and that's now done, so this is disconnected. And then the 1 is done here. There we go. Yeah, this is where I wanted to get to. That's another dead end. We can't go here, so let's now continue on where we left off here. So this 1 is done. This 3 needs all of these marked. This 2 is now done. Again, basic tile solving. And then this 6 area has 2, a 4, 6. So it's already done, and this tile is deleted. The 5 needs that tile, and that's as far as we can go here. And now we go down this way. So this 2 is done, and the 2 is done, and the 4. And that now gave us 2 tiles for this 5 area, which now has 5 tiles, and all of these are disconnected. We get that for the 1, and the 2, again, basic tiles. Once again, max 3 in 4 tiles, we have to mark the 2 center tiles, completing the chain, so this tile is disconnected. And then we get this tile for the 2 here. And this 6 has 3 and 6, so all of these tiles are deleted. The 1 here is done, this tile is marked, and this tile is marked. The 2 here is done, and we can look at this 4 area, which has 2 and 4, so this tile is removed. And then the 3 here, and this 1, this tile now marked for the 2, and the 1 is done. Once again, 3 chain and 4 tiles, the center 2 are marked, and this is disconnected. This 3 needs these 2 tiles, and this 2 is already done. This 3 is done, or needs this tile, and then I think we just look up here instead. This 3 is already done, so this tile is gone, and the 4 is done, and the 3 is done. And then now we look at this final 7, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we know we need to mark 1 tile here for this 2, which will complete the area, so these 2 tiles are removed. And that gives us this tile for the 3, and this final tile is removed. So yeah, not too bad of a level overall, nothing horrendously complicated, but maybe a little hard to keep track of jumping around, so sorry about that. But it's going to get worse, because now we're jumping into Waltz. So, Waltz is a line level, which means press the X button on your keyboard to mark all of the lines, and then we'll just unmark all the lines as we complete them, to keep track of which ones are done and which ones are not. So to start here, we have a 3 cluster and a 7 cluster. They obviously can't connect, because they can't be part of the same cluster, so this tile has to be deleted. The 2 is now done, and the 1 here, and this 1 marks this, giving us a 2 cluster that has to go down here for 2, and it's now done, so these tiles have to be disconnected. Now, we can count this line here of 7, we can at most have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so all of them have to be marked. And that line is now done. The 2 is now done here, and this 2, and when it's just basic tiles, I guess I won't really talk about it much. 10 cluster here, we have 1, we have to go down here for 2, and then 3, but then we can't say any more for right now. Actually, we can, because this 5 line is already done. We have 2 here, and we have 3 here, so these tiles are deleted. The 0 here, all 3 here are marked, this one for the 1, and now we count to 10 again. We have 3, we have 6, and we have to go here for 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that's now done, so disconnect it. And then the 1 here is done. The 3 needs all of these marked. And this 2 needs this tile. And if we count this 8 line here, how many tiles do we have? We have 3, we have 6, we have 7, we have 8, so this tile has to be disconnected. The 2 here is already done, and the 1 marks this tile. This 6 cluster now has 4 tiles, and we have to go here for 5 and then 6 and disconnect this tile. And the 1 is done here. These 2 need all of these tiles marked. And then we can look at this line here. We have 1, we have 4, we have 5, and we have to mark this final tile. And then I don't think we can look at this one quite yet, no. So now we have to backpedal a little bit. Yeah, just go backwards. This one, perhaps? No, not quite yet. Oh boy, yeah, this is a problem with this one. You kind of have to jump around a little bit. Okay, we can continue here all the way back at the start again. So, if we start over from scratch, here we have a 3 cluster and a 7 cluster. We need to mark one of these 2 tiles for this 4. So, if this 3 goes up here, then this tile is removed. I mean, either way it's removed because we can't connect up the 3 and 7. So if this 3 goes up here, then it still has to go down here to get the 3rd tile. If it doesn't go here, then it will still have to go here for the 2nd tile, and then here for the 3rd tile. So this tile, regardless, has to be marked for this 3 cluster. And same here on this 7, we have 3 tiles already. We can mark this tile for 4, but regardless, even if we do that, we'll only have 4 tiles, and then we have to go on up here for 5, 6, and 7. Now, we can count this 6 line here, which has 1, and then 5, and we know one of these tiles will be marked for the 4 and either one of these clusters. So these tiles all have to be removed. The 2 now needs these tiles, and the 1 is done, and the 1 is done, and this 3 is done. And now we can just look at the 7 cluster again, which only has 6 tiles, so we have to use this tile to complete the 7 cluster, and then disconnect this tile, and the 3 needs this tile. So that's disconnected, and the 1 is done, and these 2 tiles are marked for the 2. Now, here we got a new 7 cluster that has to go here for 2, and then here for 3, connecting up to this area, and now it's already complete as a 7 cluster. So all of these tiles connecting to it are disconnected. And this line here has 4, 5, 6, and we need to mark this tile for the 7th tile. Over here we have the 1 that's already done, and this tile is marked for this one. And now this 4 line has 1, 2, 3, and 4, so this tile is disconnected. The 2 here is done, the 4 needs these 2 tiles, and now we can look at this line here of 6, we have 3, we have 2 more, so 5, and then the final tile has to be marked for 6. And then here, in this line, we have 7, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have to mark this tile. Now, what do we even have left? We have these lines here. I think we can just, yeah, because we got this 2 earlier, thanks to the, 10 cluster, I think it was, or I don't even remember at this point. But yeah, the 7 line here has 1. We can at most mark 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So all of these have to be marked. That now gives us a 9 cluster with 3, 6, and 9, so it's already done, and all connecting tiles have to be removed. And all of these 2s are already completed, so these 2 are also removed. This 1 is marked for the 2 1s, and this 6 cluster, 6 line is now done, and finally, this 7 line here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and needs 2 more tiles marked. So there we go. Not an overly difficult level. Wow, that was quicker than I thought, honestly. I haven't really practiced past this point. I think I've tried these 2, but it was like a couple days ago, so I mean, sure, I guess we'll jump into Duet. I think this one might have been a little tricky, but we'll see. I'm sure it will be fine, right? I hope? Okay, so to start here, we have an area of max 2 tiles. This might be a little scuffed, we'll see. I might have to, cut this out and practice it and then come back, but we'll give it a shot. So, max 2 right here in this entire area, but we need to mark 4 tiles here in these 5 tiles. So for the 4, we can't have more than 2 tiles in a row chained together. So what would happen if we, for example, disconnect this tile? Then we would have to mark these 4, and that's now a 4 chain, which is more than this max 2 can handle. If we disconnect this tile, that also doesn't work. If we remove either of these 2 tiles, like let's say this one, then we have to mark these 3, which again is more than this 2 can handle. So in any case, if this middle tile is marked, then we can't complete this max 2 chain here. So the middle tile has to be removed, and these 2 have to be marked as to complete the 4. That now gives us two chains here, and the max 2 cannot have more than these connected, so all of the tiles surrounding these 2 chains have to be disconnected. And now we can just solve some basic tiles. Not really going to explain this part, just solve as much as you can. Right here we have a 3, and the 2 is done, and this 3. You can do this for a while. I would always recommend just solving the basic tiles and ignoring all areas until you have to look at them. So just solve as much as you can, for as long as you can. This 3 is done. And I believe that is it. Yeah, so now we just start looking at any of the areas. So let's look at this max 2. So this max 2 has a 1 tile here, that's fine. It has 2 here and 2 here, and we can't connect up these 2 clusters to anything else. So these 2 tiles are removed, and these 2 tiles are removed. That now gives us this tile for the 3, and this tile is removed, and now this tile for this 3. Here, we now have a max 4. Because we marked this tile for this 3, we now have a 4 cluster here, so that can't be connected up to any more tiles in this area, so these 2 tiles are disconnected. And the 2 here is already done. This 3 needs these 3 tiles. The 2 here is done. And this 3 needs these 2 tiles. The 2 here is already done. And I think we want to leave this area for a little bit and instead cycle over this way. Let's just look at this area, I suppose. Yeah, let's just look at the max 1. So here we have a max 1 area. We can't have any tile connected to any other tile in this entire area. So we have 1 tile here. We can't mark either of these 2 connecting tiles, so those are gone. And the 1 here is done. And this tile is marked for the 3. And we now have to disconnect this tile here, or it would make a 2 chain. And then this 2 needs this tile. This 2 is now done. And we once again have a tile here. We can't connect it up here, so that's marked. And once again, we need to mark one of these 2 tiles, but we can't mark this tile because we have to separate it for the max 1. So that's marked. Disconnect it again, and that's marked. Now we can look at this max 3, which now has a 3 chain, so that's done. We have to disconnect these 2 tiles. This 3 is already done, and this 3 needs these 3 tiles. And once again, we have a 3 chain, so we have to disconnect these tiles, and then finally mark this tile for the 2 here. And then down here, we have these tiles for the 3, and in this area, we have already a 5 chain. So these 2 tiles both have to be disconnected. So that's it. That's the first half of this puzzle. Now we flip over to the other side and solve this half. This was not the level I thought it was, though. I think I was thinking of Convergence, which is the next one. I think that was what it was called. That one is a little lengthy and tricky, so that'll probably take a while. This one isn't too bad. So 2 here, already done. And that's about it. But now we have to look at this max 3. So this is a little tricky area here. We have to look at the max 3 area in this area along with this 3. So we have 2 tiles here already. For this 3, what would happen if this tile is removed? If this tile is removed, we have to mark these 3 tiles. And that makes a 4 chain in this max 3 area. So that's not possible. We can't remove this tile. The gap for this 3 has to be in one of these 2 tiles. So this tile is marked, now getting us the 1 tile for the 1 here. And now we can just solve some tiles normally. So let's do that. Well, only up until that point, but actually, yeah, here we can continue for a bit. There we go, that's it. And now we look again at the max 3, which now has a 3 chain, so we have to disconnect all the connecting tiles to it. And now, once again, back to normal tiles, for as long as you can. Over here, we need all these. This 3 needs these 2 tiles, completing this one. So just solve these as far as you can. This 2 is done. And there we go. Alright, so now we can look at many different things. Let's start with this max 1 that we're right at. So we have a tile here. We can't use this tile or it would make a 2 chain in this area. So that's disconnected. And this 2 now needs this tile, completing this 2. and the 1 here, and this is done, and that's disconnected. Then we get this tile for the two there, and solid basic tiles again, for as long as you can. This 3 needs this tile, this 2 is done, the 1 is done, the 3 here, and the 2 there, up until that point. Alright, and now this max 2 has a 2 chain here, so that can't connect up to any other tile, so these 2 are deleted. And this tile is marked, the 2 is now done, and this 2 is marked. Here, the max 3 has 3 tiles, so we have to disconnect all connecting tiles from it, and the 3 here needs these 2 tiles. Now here, we again have a max 3 with a 3 chain here, so these 3 connected tiles cannot be marked. This 2 now needs this tile, completing this 2, and this 2 needs this tile, and this 2 needs this tile. And then here we have a max 5 with a 5 chain, so once again, these 2 tiles cannot be connected to this chain. There we go. That wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Yeah, I think it's the next one, Convergence. That's quite a bit of a lengthy one. I think overall it's not too hard, it's just kind of scatterbrained, you have to jump around a lot, and there are some areas that are easy to overlook and stuff. In practice, I kind of had a lot of trouble with it before I noticed what I was missing all along, and it was like fairly obvious, I think, but I'll have to practice that before I do it again, so since that's going to be a bit of a long one, I'm going to end it off here. But yeah, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and like I said, next time we'll do Convergence, maybe something else. I'll practice something else. I think I have practiced something else once or twice, but that might be another 1 level video, I would almost expect. But see you then, if you need help with those levels. Bye bye!